Hello, good morning, you guys, and welcome to Real Talk with Tamara. As you guys come into the room, please do hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. I hope that you guys are doing okay. I know that I am. I always express the importance of hitting the like button because the like button helps to keep the video in the algorithm. Okay, so make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, comment, all of those real great things. Okay. I wanted to talk about why Memphis can't get past what CMG did to Young Dolph. Okay, of course, you know Young Dolph was assassinated. The backstory for the newcomers, but everybody basically knows the full story. Young Dolph was assassinated in his hometown of Memphis, Tennessee, back in November of 2021. Right. Okay. Before that, there had been a long-standing beef between Young Dolph and Yo Gotti, right? There had been a long-standing beef, and starting in 2017 that we know of, around 2016, 2017, for some odd reason, I guess because Young Dolph was going up, um, they started actively trying to take his life, right? Which it had gone too far, okay, even back then. And as I said before, I think it's the consumer's fault because for some reason, because Young Dolph, when they would try to take his life, he would go and make music, um, and grandstand on them, okay. Um, People just got fascinated with it instead of holding um people accountable, instead of holding Yo Gotti and Black Youngster and Juke and whoever else. And I'm not even sure at that particular time if Juke was even behind them trying to take Young Dolph out. Because at one point Juke and Young Dolph was really cool. Okay. We saw Black Youngster with Yo Gotti all of the time. You know, he was getting people like Keon, like Black Youngster, and they was directly up under Yo Gotti, right? So, um, at some point, Juke chose his brother, of course, and which ain't nobody mad at that. You know, a lot of people say, it never should have went as far as it went because Young Dolph had helped that man at some point. Um, no, I guess it was no ill feelings in the very beginning. You know, when Dolph was helping him, when he felt like his brother had turned his back on him, um, and I guess fronting him weed or whatever. So, anyways, one of the reasons that the main reason why Memphis can't get past what CMG did to Young Dolph is because they were both Memphians, right? Both labels was from out of Memphis. Both of the artists who had obtained quite a bit of success for themselves was from Memphis, right? Young Dolph had worked extremely hard. He was definitely the underdog, and he went from the back and came to the front. Okay, um, and I think if you talk to if you hear some of the other rappers, especially in the beginning, even if they was riding more with Gotti, I think they felt like it was lame because they felt like the motive was more so Gotti being mad about Young Dolph messing around allegedly with his baby's mom. And a lot of those street dudes thought that that was lame. And there was no reason for him to be consistently sending dudes out to try and take this man's life, putting the police on to these guys. Okay. I think that was their mindset. And then it was just not necessary. And I think when it finally happened, people still felt like it was unnecessary. The man was just walking into a cookie shop. And if you think about it, I don't think Young Dolph felt like that there was any beef at that time, right? Young Dolph was talking about how he was getting ready to become a billionaire. He was doing interviews talking about that. And I really think that that messed with a lot of people like Yo Gotti. Okay. This man get ready to become a billionaire. And if Young Dolph had said that he was getting ready to become a billionaire, they already knew that he was going to do it. He had already beat the odds, right? And so they strictly wanted, as the young lady who called in the other day, um, um, says, I believe she said she was his mother or his father's cousin. She was an older lady. She's very upset. Um, Called in the other day and said all they wanted what he had. Okay. She says he was very quiet, very methodical, always a giver, and just a kind-hearted person, right? We saw with the way that he gave, the money came in and he gave to people. Um, in the community, something Yo Gotti has never done. And here's the thing about that, and people say, well, Joe Gotti gave quietly. Well, how come nobody knows about it? What is the good in giving if don't nobody know that you giving to the community? It seems like to me you want people to know that you're giving out things so that they can come and be a part of it, so that they can be a recipient of it, all of the people that's in need. What good is it for you to give out something to the needy if the needy don't know that you're giving it out? That's an oxymoron, right? He ain't never gave nothing out. He always been a taker. Okay. But here we have a young man that was giving out things, okay, that was helping his community, giving back to the community that supported him and helped to put him on. Okay, he had the right mindset. That's the reason why he couldn't miss. Every shot that he threw was a 3-pointer. Okay, he hit that goal. It was a 3-pointer, and they couldn't take it. And so, here come young Dolph, see what is going on. I was listening to, shout out to I can't think of a Sip Saw. Okay. He says that I was listening to him say one day on Godmother's channel, Gotti watched Dolph watched Gotti go through the struggle. I think I look at it in terms of I think Dolph was looking at everybody. Okay. I think he was looking at Gotti because that's what people do when they're getting ready to go in business and they're able to decipher what road that they want to go down and don't want to go down. And he saw how the record companies had they was in these 360 deals, and Dolph was methodical and smart enough to understand, no, I don't want to go down this road and go down this struggle. I want financial freedom, and I'm already getting money. So I'm going to go another route, which is why in an interview, he went and had those conversations with Master P, right? Which was a smart thing to do. Master P is one of the ones that didn't get tied up in them 360 deals in the very beginning. And him and young Dolph was smart enough to go and get up and get some what's the word that I'm looking for? He was smart to go and get some knowledge, okay, from him. Because remember, Master P says that he didn't want to get caught up in them 360 deals, and so he wanted Michael Jackson's attorney. And so he said back in those days, that was in the early 90s, he found out who Michael Jackson's entertainment attorney was, and it was $25,000. Now, $25,000 was a lot around 1990. Okay. So he found out who Michael Jackson's attorney was, and he said Michael Jackson's attorney came up with the 25,000. He gave him a 15-minute consultation and told him what he needed to do. As far as not signing, he needed to make sure he didn't sign over his master. He said it was 15 minutes, and he told him what he needed to do in 15 minutes and paid him $25,000. Young Dolph went that route because he was smart and talked to Master P and probably talked to other people, right? Young Dolph spoke highly of Master P and probably was able to be geared at some of those attorneys and got some more knowledge. It ain't none of Young Dolph's fault that he was smart enough to understand and look at these people and see that they were not having what they talked about. If he was going to talk about it, he really wanted to have it, right? And so he was smart enough not to go down the 360 route. And not only that, he wanted to create a label and not just be a figurehead over a record label and go get $100 million deal, $100 million loan, because that's what it is. He didn't want to be tied up. $100 million is a lot of money. So when you have $100 million loans and stuff like that, you have to, you probably don't even own the label. You have to have collateral until you get that $100 million paid back plus interest. Can you imagine how much interest Gotti got to pay on that 100 mil? That's why they're working the hell out of Glorilla, right? And so he was smart enough to do that. Okay. So the man gracefully bowed out. He didn't try and start no trouble with the man. All he said was, I ain't gonna sign. He saw it just like anybody else should do. You do your research. Too many people jump into stuff and then they get whoop cat raggedy. Right? They get whoop cat raggedy. But he did his research and decided, nah, I ain't gonna go that route. I'm gonna go another route, the paper route. Okay, because I want that paper to be routed to me. I ain't gonna go the 360 way. I'm just gonna be independent and go the paper route way. Okay, so that paper can be routed to me and my artist 100%. And they couldn't stand it. Okay, see, this is one of the reasons why that the Memphians just can't get past this, right? At least some of the Memphians, because you hear people, try and justify what Gotti and them did. I mean, to me, it just makes the city look bad when you have people sitting up trying and to justify from out of Memphis what Gotti and them did. Because regardless to whether you rock with them or not, because the people that's rocking with them ain't really rocking with them; they just fans, right? So whether you rock with them or a fan or not, what they did was wrong. Right. What they did was wrong. And some people a man was just walking into a cookie shop and you try and justify that. That's why I know it's a lot of mental illness is in the atmosphere in my city. Okay. And so, but that's why Memphis can't get past it, because the man was killed for nothing. Not only that, this is what's so delusional. You kill a man and then say, I'm beating him. You had to put him in his grave. That's mental retardation to even have that type of mindset. That's mental illness for real. That's mental illness for real. I kill him. Now I'm winning. We handicapped. He can't go past me no more. I'm beating him. And he in his grave. I would be ashamed to even think like that. That's why a lot of people, I got family from out of Indiana that listen to Gotti and Young Dolph. Okay. And so one of my cousins from out of Indiana, she said, I be in the bushes sometime, cousin. She like, I be wanting to come out, but I'm like, I'm let my cousin handle it. Because you can handle yourself, you be handling yourself. She said, but it's messed up. Like, wow, why Memphis sitting up talking about, Gotti beating Dolph? And she said, it's really like lunacy. And they had to kill him to beat him, and then want to wear the badge of saying, we won, we winning, we beating paper route, we beating him, we beating Dolph. I said, I don't know, but it makes me shame. It makes me shame that I know I got to. I was raised up in the city with a bunch of stupid, ignorant motherfuckers. Okay, so, but this is why Memphis can't get past CMG, but CMG did to Young Dolph. Like I said, Yo Gotti is a talented artist. He is. He's talented. I won't take that away from him. He's had a few good songs. You had Young Dolph. He's talented too, but Young Dolph carried the package, the total package. Okay. When I say that, Young Dolph, some people argue rather who was more talented. They got their right to, because to some people, Yo Gotti was more talented. To some people, Young Dolph was more talented. I can't argue with that, because people got a right to feel how they want to feel. But Young Dolph had the total package, which gave him an edge over Gotti. Young Dolph was talented. He was smart. Okay, so he beat him out with that. He didn't go the 360 way. Okay, he was smart. He was tall, he was handsome. So in the industry, that's not a dig, it's the truth. We already know that in the industry, he would be considered the total package. Dark skin was in, women loving and drooling all over dark skinned men. It was in. Even though they want to put the light skinned women out front, dark skin, especially with the men, especially when they tall and handsome and got money and be Gucci and Louis Vuitton up like young Dolph and can walk into a store and count out 250 while he just waiting to do a show passing time. Of course, they're giving more fans. He can do that. He on live and he going through his closet and having to stumble up on a bag full of money. Oh damn, my cleaning lady was here. I didn't even know I had this bag. It's 50 G's. Shit, I didn't even know this was in the closet. So of course they was hating him. They killed him because they was hating on him. And they got the nerve to sit up and talk about, we killed him. Now I'm the biggest. I'm the biggest. Like a goddamn slave cuckabug head. And see, I talk about that because that's kind of like the mentality in Memphis, right? You know, it's break a nigga, break them, break a bitch, break them, and it's still delusional. It's still a delusional type mentality to have because Memphis is impoverished. The only thing they do is sabotage themselves when they come into contact with people that could really help to take them out of that poverty mindset. Because see, that's a poverty mindset. Okay, so unfortunately, because see, I'm one of those ones. Like I said, I like to try to. I especially when I see my city, I be hating. Even I go, Lord, you know, this person from my city. I really just don't want my city to look bad, right? But we got people to be on the internet that make Memphis look bad. Okay. But still the city is so much more because even still, you know, there's still some real street dudes out there. Trust me. Now I have to I will step out. I'll say, you know, you have some vloggers that's cool. And I see some street dudes because I believe that True That is a real street dude. Okay, I believe that. I believe that True That is a real street dude because you're not gonna really hear True That. He gonna talk about so much, but then he gonna cut it off. Okay, you don't really ever know what he's thinking, and whatever he feels, you ain't gonna really know it. Not too much, especially as it relates to some real street stuff. Okay, and True That is pretty much kind of tapped in with the streets and the people that he say he's tapped in with. Okay. Right. So when you get dudes like that, whatever it is that they're feeling, they might say something, but they ain't gonna say too much because they really street dudes. Okay. You don't really ever know how a real street dude feel. Okay. Now, getting back to Gotti and Doc. Young Dolph was tapped in the streets. If you talk to people from out of North Memphis, they really liked Jook. They did. Jook was a street dude. They really didn't care for Gotti. The people in South Memphis really did like Young Dolph, which is why Yo Gotti started coming into South Memphis trying to cause a lot of he really decided to come into from a signed artist in South Memphis because he really wanted to dismantle any, I guess, like the young Dolph may have had around his area. He really wanted some people from out of South Memphis because Yo Gotti could have got some people from out of North Memphis. But he made sure that it was the area that showed Dolph the most love because of his hate. It was in those areas close to where he grew up at, and the people that grew up in South Memphis, because Orange Mound is a part of South Memphis. Straight Drop grew up in Orange Mound. Okay. Cornelius grew up in Orange Mound, right? He wanted to make sure black youngster grew up in the heart of the trenches of South Memphis. Okay, he wanted to make sure that he got all of these little dudes from out of South Memphis to take out this man because of the love that South Memphis has shown him, right? So that he could never feel safe in giving back to his community, so that he could always be looking over his shoulder. That was to stop him, make him feel a certain way about giving back to his community, to stop a lot of stuff. If we continuously have him looking over his shoulder, he'll go away, he'll stop. Kind of like that spirit kind of resides in Memphis. Y'all notice when I do a video, you have crazy people that feel like they need to come behind me and do a video. That is, we're gonna go at her. If we keep going at her, we could stop her. That's the same mentality Yo Gotti got. It's prevalent in the atmosphere, right? And so that's one of the reasons why I say I always go and I put stuff on file, because these folks is crazy. They want a bone. They ain't gonna get one. Yo Gotti ain't never gave nobody nothing. And what's so sad about it is a lot of the people, everybody in Memphis, to include North Memphis and South Memphis, already know what happened, because they said they know what happened and said that Yo Gotti said that Dolph had to go. I mean, that's on one of my videos. I've been, when I get time, I'm gonna find it. When I was having all the people, when I was dropping the link, and some of them Memphians was coming up on my panel, they said it. I've talked to people from Memphis. They know exactly what happened. Hell, they were the ones that, some of them dudes from out of Fraser and North Memphis were the ones telling me what they did. Okay, when they got up on my panel. And now all of a sudden, people want to take all of the blame and lay it at the feet of Juke. They want to take the blame because everybody is a wimp now. They want to take all of the blame, and what, Juke is dead. We're gonna just put everything on top of his grave. What kind of, that's weak if I ever seen anything. How you gonna try? And this man got kids and shit. Now these people so mentally screwed up. They'll say, well, folks talk about Juke and this and that, and Juke got a legacy, but they're the main ones that want to take all of the blame and throw it on his grave because he's dead, right? To try and eliminate these other people that was involved from going to jail. But they can't do that, right? Because they ain't the government, right? But they're the main ones disrespecting his legacy. His kids listening to that. His mama and his woman and them listening to that. Why they blame everything on him? When the problem was not with initially, especially with Juke and Dolph. As always, Juke just decided that he was going to go ahead and take his brother's side, probably as anybody would when his brother saw that there was some type of camaraderie there, and he decided he wanted to dismantle that. And so he started back dealing with his brother. Because remember, now when folks get to talking about they had all this money, his brother wasn't messing with him, and Dolph was the one taking care of him and helping him out. We got to be real about it. So that's how we know that the idea of taking them out was not initially conceived by Big Juke. Help me, somebody. Y'all know how I get. I feel my help coming on. Okay. That's what the preacher said. I feel my help coming on. I feel one coming on, as I always say, a preach. That's how we know that Juke, okay, the idea was not initially conceived. We didn't hear anything about Juke when Keon was trying to take him out. We didn't hear anything about Juke when he was with Black Youngster was with Yo Gotti everywhere he went, and consistently throwing out shots at Dolph and going out in Dolph neighborhood. Okay. So this is why Memphis can't get past CMG. And I always talk about I'm a Leo, okay? And even though I roar, okay, and and I could be ferocious when you fuck with me the wrong way. Um, I'm loyal to my kingdom, okay? And so that's one of the reasons why, not because I'm weak. I was taught if a man asks you for help and they seem sincere, give them a hand up. I don't give handouts, I give hand up, right? And so I see how impoverished my city was. I saw, you know, it ain't no harm in trying to help people. But we see that there's some of the sometimes when you help people, just like that spirit that got in them got the same people, right? Because it's prevalent now. And I'm not saying that it's a North Memphis thing, South Memphis thing, or anything like that. I think it's just a character thing. Those be the ones trying to assassinate you physically or assassinate your character after you have given them a lifeline. Okay? You threw them a lifeline, right? And so I think that spirit is prevalent because when they can't assassinate your character in Memphis, that spirit is prevalent. They will try and assassinate the physical realm, right? And all for what? God ain't gonna pay for no lawyers. He ain't gonna do nothing, right? I think about Grove Hero. When I reached out to Grove Hero, he asked me, he knew exactly who I was. I said, how much you'll charge me to do an interview? His initial comment was, Tamara, I'm expensive. I said, oh, okay, well. And then he sent me a message. He said, what's your budget? Because I fucks with you. You a day one. To let me know he was looking at my stuff. I said, well, I ain't got one. It's a food stamp budget. And so I sent him a number and it was a food stamp budget. I sent him a number. He didn't say nothing. And I said to myself, Lord, I guess I'll be insulted too. Somebody sent me that number. I said, you didn't respond. So I mean, I understand. I know it's low, real low, like almost nothing. And so he sent me a message back and said, I mess with you the long way. I'll take that food stamp budget, donate to what, you could, my cause or whatever. I appreciated that because he ain't have to get on here. I ain't have to take no donations from any of my subscribers. I was able to just go in my accounts and get him them food stamps. Okay. Because that's what it was. The pennies on the pennies. And I appreciate that dude for doing that. Because he is expensive. That dude out there, I mean, we talk about him all the time. Hey, I don't have no issues. I know he's busy, and I appreciate that, right? And when I sent it to him, he was like, "I'm gonna make sure that whole day blocked off for you." I was like, "Wow!" He said, "I'm gonna make sure I'm available that whole day." I was like, "Wow, that's love right there." And I barely sent him $100. And he said, I'm gonna block the whole day off for you. Just let me know. I'm gonna make sure I'm available. I'm gonna just block off that day for whatever time and I'll make sure I'm available. Right. But that's because I believe that because he kept saying, because you're a day one, I mess with you. He know I've been telling the truth. And so to me, he really did charity work. That's what he did. It's still, when he came on my show, that was still charity work. When your God gonna go on somebody's show? When he might send somebody now. He done shelved everybody. Why don't he send one of them on somebody's show? Okay. Maybe he will now that I'm saying it. Because he ain't studying nobody. So I would be remiss if I got on here and tried to justify what that man did by taking another man's life. Okay. And paper route, them boys got money. Dolph left them boys set up. That money's still circulating within that camp. If them boys wanted to do something to somebody, they could have been paid somebody to do it. Okay. And because they still carry that spirit of young Dolph, they still didn't go trying to, they still been good. Okay. And I'm gonna leave that alone. They still been good and they making their money because they don't want to trick nobody out of their position. But yet and still, you still got damn fools that's ready to come up out of their position for a man that couldn't give two F's about them. Okay. But anyways, this is why Memphis can't get past what CMG did to Young Dolph. Okay. They can't get past it. You know why they can't get past it? Because it was very unnecessary. Okay. It was very unnecessary. And so I don't think that Memphis I just don't think that Memphis is going to be able to really move past taking away such a star, a good-hearted person, taking him away from his family. We see how his woman is suffering. We see how his children had a hard time because they don't understand why this man think he the biggest in Memphis. He destroyed Memphis. He's a fucking destroyer. After he did this, I'm the biggest. After you do this to your city, that's a betrayal to your city. And then you haul ass. Okay, I'm with Hitter on that. You destroy your city and haul ass up out of your city, right? And expect for the city to still support what you got going on, create generational wealth for what you got going on. Okay, that's a Judas if I ever seen one to the city of Memphis, and that's why Memphis can't get past that. So when you hear people say that Young Dolph is the king, he is. Because he was loyal. He was motherfucking loyal to the death of him. When he died, they killed him walking into a cookie shop supporting another business. Supporting another business. Came back, left his family, came back from out of the comfort of his home to give back to his city. Because he appreciated giving back to the city that helped to put him on, that he loved, that was in his heart, the streets that he walked. His cousins, his family, his aunties and stuff. He had a loyalty and a love for his city. He the king. And they took him out being loyal to his city. That's why people can't get past it. Never will. Okay? And this is spoken from a Memphian. Okay? Born and raised. Okay? But anyways, you guys, I got to get off of here because I got to get out of here. But I want you guys to please like, share, and subscribe. If you would like to support the channel, you could definitely support the channel via Cash App.